What's going on, gamers? You guys know how I am. I get every angle of this. So now Sony is responding finally to how they choose to view the tariffs and what this means. I'm going to give you guys the math too. I already have it ready for what they're talking about, but their approach is different from what I've heard from Microsoft and from what I've heard from Nintendo. Very interesting. Over here, Dustin just posted something. So I was like, yeah, let's go ahead and do this now because this is something interesting to talk about, right? It says, as expected, Sony is considering passing along the tariff impact by increasing the price of their products. It's a lot more than this. So it's assumed the PS5 price could be impacted. We knew this was coming eventually, but it's a matter of when and when do you want to put that in effect? Because we have our answer for the next 3 months. So, what did Sony decide to factor into this number we're about to see? This is going to be interesting. Listen closely to what she says here, y'all. Are we ready? Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what y'all think. Here we go.
Regarding the tariff, let me answer to the tariff question. 100 billion yen impact have been.
She said 100 billion yen impact. How? You know what I mean? I want to see what she means by this. What is that? What math are you using to add it in? Because she's just telling me that that's the impact. But tell me how, because we ready to take a look at this? I've done the math for you guys. I got a lot going on over here, and then I'm making, so yeah, it's a lot of types. 100 billion yen converted to US dollars is $683 million, y'all. 134,000. So Sony is looking at the tariffs impacting them as a corporation or as a company, uh, like this. This is what they're looking to make up for. I want you to think about that. It's not hard for Sony to make in a quarter. I'm gonna make more than this easily. But what I'm saying simply is that to them, this means that they are going to adjust some way to try to make this up. Considering the fact that how much live service games they canceled too, and what's been going on lately, now they're going to look at it that way. Plus this, there's no way they're not jacking up the price after this. So we're going to see something, but how are they going to do it, and when are they going to do it? I wanted to give you guys this number so that you could see that this is what she just said. We're going to get back to this, but this just gives you an idea here. Almost $700 million that they say they're going to be impacted by.
It's assuming the official tariff rate, which has been announced in hardware.
There we go. The official tariff rate that has been announced in hardware. They're specifically telling you it's literally the percentage he just gave you, the 30%. So that means almost a 700 million impact to Sony. That's kind of interesting, y'all. I don't know. I'm not going to just accept that because I don't know, it just seems greedy.
Hardware business is included in this in terms of our portfolio, GNS, games, and also ETNS and INSS, semiconductors. So
She said it, semiconductors. Those are chips, what they need to manufacture and get stuff going. They're talking about the price increase of that at manufacturing. So in that sense, I wonder if Sony is going to try to move and establish a base like NVIDIA in USA. This is now reality. There's no more arguing whether things are impacted. It's more about are these corporations being honest on their impact. I would like to just see more numbers. Like I think that would be nice. But we kind of get the hint, and we have something else to look at here too. But we're going to talk about this more too because, like I said, it's working. The strategy that he's using for people to come to America and to establish a manufacturing there and to strengthen that brand. That's not bad. That's good for your own country because you want a stronger brand. You don't want to be dominated by people outside of you. So
those three segments, we are actually incorporating on par basis from these three businesses. In terms of the tariff,
she said 3 businesses. I think they're also going to be thinking about other categories because remember, Sony's multi-conglomerate.
We are not just simply calculating the simple tariff to come up with 100 billion yen, but thinking about the currently available information and also looking at the market trend, we may pass
Did you see what she said? It's not even just tariffs either. It's market trends and other factors to consider. Like you're talking about the rise of development and cost. Here it comes again. They've been talking about this, so they're going to do this anyways in their own world. It had nothing to do with anybody else. She just made it quite clear about why. It's not just tariffs. Everything Sony's doing is not necessarily just tariffs, but everything in totality. They're thinking about the price increase for all market conditions and just in general everything in totality. That's what she just said.
On to the price and also shipment allocation. So we are taking a
Shipment allocations.
different measures in managing to come up to the 100 billion yen impact.
So we're taking measures to how we want to jack up the price on our consumers and charge more money to make more profit so that we don't suffer for these tariffs.
That's what we are thinking. Thank you very much.
So that's what she said. Now, next we're going to go to Hiroki Totoki. It says right here, Sony's Hiroki Totoki is considered producing the PlayStation 5s in the United States due to the tariffs. It needs to be considered going forth. So
in the end,
he's going to get a translation, by the way, because he doesn't speak English. But watch what he says real quick, because this is exactly what I've been thinking as well. And like I said, this is a strategy to make things more local rather than this international shipping and making billions off of the USA territory. That's strengthening the local territory, and it's right there too. And it's easy. You don't have to worry about shipping. You don't have to worry about things getting sold out. You're not going to get hit because you're right in here and you're selling it right to your own, base, wherever region you want to reach.
In the entertainment, rather than saying for entertainment segment, I want to look at it from the hardware segment and the software segment. And in entertainment, gaming, like consoles, these hardwares, of course, can be produced locally. I think that would be an efficient strategy.
Did you hear what he just said? I don't understand why Microsoft, a $1 trillion company, is not doing this, but you got people that are outside of America that are not stationed inside of America, or with all the money that they have not already made moves around this. Nintendo made their own move by going to Vietnam and Cambodia. Sony's saying they may consider building a base in the United States of America going forth, so they can just manufacture PS5 and future PS6s and whatever else, PS6 Pros and handhelds, whatever, in the future, so they can have a base here. And then in the long term, they'll save themselves a bunch of money, and it'll work out. And they're strengthening together in sync with the American brand. That's smart. Interesting.
But PS5 is are being manufactured in many areas. Whether it's going to be manufactured in the U.S. or not, it needs to be considered going forward. We're not in such a critical situation.
No, they're not, because they still were making record profit on revenues and stuff like that from third-party royalties and all that other sorts of stuff outside of their first party, like they've always been doing. But they've made stupid mistakes. They messed up a golden generation when they could have had one. So you hear what he said right there. It's not like we're in critical situations. We're fine. Yeah, of course. You also had ESG funding, so that makes sense. So you can push these stupid little agendas in your games that failed. But, now we know that Sony is going to take measures. But what I find funny is I don't think this is going to be right now, because they're not saying anything about prices coming into effect immediately. And we've taken the prices and we considered everything. They're still trying to gather everything. And I'd say they're being a little bit more wise about it, but it's also not going to make them better. They're going to do it eventually anyways. But at least they're communicating with you and not saying, here it is, and let me drop it off in front of you and then disappear like Microsoft did immediately in effect. Yeah, how more anti-consumer can you get? Like, that is just the worst corporate shithole move. So Nintendo has not said anything about them raising the hardware price. They told you why they would if it was significant. And they're over in Vietnam where they get hit with a 10%. So they're not doing it. They're fine. Sony's saying that they're somehow making up. I wouldn't say making up, but they're telling you that right now 100 billion yen. So we translate that, that's almost 700 million US dollars. And they're looking for ways to adjust around this, not necessarily specifically on tariffs, but also market conditions, first-party production development costs, the rising costs of all those sorts of things. And they're adding all that and bundling it up together. So I'm putting this in the simplest terms so we can all understand what they're really saying here instead of like, just what they're saying right there. No, yeah, let's read between the lines and let's just translate it being real. So we have our answers here. We knew that Sony was around the corner with this, but do we have our answer about when? We don't. They said Ghost Yote is not 79. They didn't say anything about 79.99 here. They kept on bringing up hardware and market conditions, manufacturing, and shipping. Sony's 80% digital, or 85. So this is literally talking about hardware, things that are being affected by hardware. But what I find interesting is that they're saying they're also considering market conditions outside of tariffs for that. So it's like, what are you talking about? Are you talking about everything in general, including first-party development costs? Because that's not hardware. That's what she kind of said. So we'll find out more down the line, I guess. Let me know what you guys think about this. Like I said, something that needs to be covered so we can understand our communication, right? So we have it here. Ponies. Let me know what y'all think. All right, y'all. Peace.